Day 2 of the R. Kelly trial is underway in New York. The R&B singer is accused of a wide array of crimes, including racketeering and sex trafficking. But what makes this trial so unique? Well, here to help us dissect the charges against the R&B singer is our chief legal correspondent, Dr. Laura McNeal. Dr. Laura, always a pleasure. So we know prosecutors are now using the RICO Act in the case against R. Kelly. Can you explain exactly what that is?
Yes, so it's a very unique statute. It's been around since the early 1970s, and essentially what it does is it makes racketeering illegal. So it's a tool, a legal tool that's used to prosecute what we call criminal enterprises. The best example I could give is think of the movie The Godfather, right? So the mafia, typically they use the RICO statute to prosecute the mafia, to show that they have this criminal enterprise where they're moving some type of service across state lines. In the case of the mafia, typically it is drugs. So interestingly enough, the enterprise is, again, you have to show it's essentially an organized crime, a system that's in place.
So, Dr. Laura, is the RICO statute usually used in this type of case?
You know, it's not. This is a very unique use of the RICO statute. Essentially what they're saying is that the head of the enterprise is R. Kelly, and that the RICO statute, or the criminal organization that he is operating, is sex trafficking of young girls for the purposes of his own personal sexual pleasures. And so essentially they're making the argument that he is recruiting women through his enterprise. So bodyguards, his associates, managers, personal assistants, drivers, his entourage essentially are the ones that are helping the enterprise run. And so it's a very creative use of the RICO statute. And, you know, they have had success in Brooklyn specifically using the statute for a sexual cult. And so this is somewhat obviously similar, and so will be interesting to see how the jury rules.
And Dr. Laura, we know that the evidence used against R. Kelly in this federal case will actually date back to the 1990s. Doesn't that violate the statute of limitation rules?
Yeah, normally I would say absolutely it does, and you typically will not see a criminal case that allows the admission of evidence dating as far back as the 1990s. That's 20 plus years. But what's unique about the RICO statute is because you're trying to show that there is a criminal enterprise, an organized crime, an organization in place, you're allowed, based on the statute, to go back as far as you need to, essentially to establish that this is a system in place. This is a business that has been running, and that's what has allowed, as we saw with the first witness yesterday, Aaliyah's testimony, or her alleged abuse rather, to come into play, even though it happened way back in the 1990s.
And I'm wondering if they'll be using some of his song lyrics as well against him.
Yes, they actually do. We have heard the prosecution suggest or indicate they will actually be using some of his rap lyrics or his song lyrics, which, again, this is unprecedented. You've never heard of a prosecutor using the song lyrics, but the one that comes to mind, of course, for me is Aaliyah's song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, which allegedly he helped co-write that song.
Yeah, there's another one that comes to mind for me, but I'm going to leave that one out right now. So yesterday we actually heard from the first witness, which was one of R. Kelly's alleged victims. How do you think her testimony impacted the jury?
I think her testimony was very influential on the jury. To actually hear an eyewitness account of the alleged sexual abuse that she endured by R. Kelly, the fact that she said, when I met him, I did lie about my age, but then I told him that I was underage. I was only, I believe she said 16 years old, and he said, just continue to lie, tell people you're older. So hearing her talk about abuse she endured and feeling like she couldn't leave when she wanted to, that's got to be compelling for jury members to think that someone would use their influence and power as a celebrity, as a worldwide musician, to not only recruit young girls but abuse them while they're underage. So very, very compelling testimony.
Dr. Laura, thank you.
Thank you.